What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy D Dyson. I could just start out by saying this is a 10 out of 10. An instant classic, just like I was saying in my final trailer reaction. Like, I loved The Irishman. As far as it being 3 hours and 29 minutes, it does not feel like 3 hours and 29 minutes. Like, you get every bit of what is going on. And for an 80s baby like myself, who know who Jimmy Hoffa was, know the circumstances around Jimmy Hoffa, this movie puts it in perspective from Frank Sheeran's point of view. I love it. The de-aging CGI didn't bother me that much because I was just so in tune with the story, you know. And I feel like Joe Pesci playing Russell Buffalino, bar none, deserves an Academy Award. I love Robert De Niro as Frank Sheeran. I love Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa. I love Harvey Keitel as Don Bruno. And I just feel like everyone gave a great performance. But Joe Pesci is, bar none, the most entertaining, it kept my eyes glued to the screen every time Joe Pesci talks, every time he has something to say. It was just like the way he interacted with people. I love that because you would never think by looking at someone like that they're a mafia don, you know, like, and just the fact that when I had, you know, with movies like this, I be wanting to do my research. So when I saw Russell Buffalino as the Buffalino crime family, and here is depicted as Russell Buffalino, like, I'm not sure if he was a boss, but it was showing that Harvey Keitel playing Bruno as the boss, and Russell Buffalino was just kind of like a concierge. And turns out that Russell Buffalino was the one that was, he was the silent don, like he was the actual boss. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like, God dang, like, dude, you a beast. Like, if you have everyone, you know, just if he took a liking to you, that he protected you and he looked out to you. One scene in particular that made me feel like, God dang, you that dude, was when Frank Sheeran bombed the laundry, kind of like the laundry house, or the industry for the laundry, trying to do that job for that guy that was like, hey, you know, that, you know, it's in competition. So Frank made some extra money and bombed the laundry factory. And then he sat down with Harvey Keitel and Joe Pesci, and Harvey Keitel was just explaining to him, like, dude, you know, like, what were you doing that for? Who were you doing that for? And he was just kind of like, yeah, this ain't the time for you to be silent. Like, you better tell me. Because, you know, in so many subtle ways, he's basically saying that your life depends upon it. And Frank finally, yeah, you know, it was a job. I was doing it for extra money. And he was just like, oh, yeah, you know, this is what I'm sorry that I did it. You know, I didn't mean to offend anybody. You know, just something I did. And, you know, Harvey Keitel was like, man, yeah, I was a silent partner into that. You shouldn't have did it. It was unauthorized. And just when he was saying, you know, do you know how good of a friend you got in Russell Buffalino? And he was like, Frank was like, yeah. And he was like, no, you don't know. And I was like, dang. And Joe Pesci just kind of like staring at him like, yeah, I just saved your life. You know, because, you know, Bruno he wants your head for that. Like, you know, like anybody else will get killed. Because you're Russell's friend, and Russell was like, don't do it because he really didn't know, he got him off the hook. So I was just like, man, because he was like, man, basically, you know, I would have been sent you to another family and you would have probably got. And you like, you know, if it wasn't for him. And I'm just like, dang, like that's the pull that Russell Buffalino had. And for the fact that when you fast forward, when JFK got shot and they're at that party giving Frank Sheeran the award and stuff like that, and how Russell Buffalino was telling Frank Sheeran, like, man, if you can whack a president, man, you could definitely whack a union boss. He ain't no problem. And, you know, here's Jimmy Hoffa like, man, they ain't gonna do that. Like, I'm I'm a political figure, you know, I'm in the media, like, you ain't gonna do that, like, without having a heavy scrutiny, you know, like, and Russell's like, man, you don't know what we capable of, you know, and I just love that fact because even with Joey Gallo, I remember watching that, you know, the documentary on Joey Gallo, and it was just crazy how that carried out. So I'm not sure if Frank was the one who really carried that hit out on Crazy Joe Gallo, but I was really enthralled with watching that documentary about Joey Gallo and how he was. And I was like, that's a crazy dude, boy. And to say that Frank got him, I'm like, man, you were deep in the mob. And crazy enough, Russell Buffalino, I loved how they were showing that people, hey, this is, you know, Angelo, though this is Sally, and it's showing how at the bottom of the screen it's like, yeah, he got shot in the head 8 times, you know, October 26, 1980. And I'm like, you seeing all these figures that they're running into, talking to people, and how they're getting killed, you know, after the event, you know. And Russell died, which is very rare for a mob boss to die of natural causes. Basically, he lived out his whole life. Not getting assassinated, not getting contract killed, nothing. So you knew that this dude was cool with every other Don that was in America. Probably even in Sicily. Nobody wanted his head. He didn't cross over nobody's toes. He didn't cross over nobody's fingers. And if he had to do a contract kill, it was for a reason. Like, because he's that type of dude to be like, man, look, you know, we could talk things out. But if you can't do that, he meant business too. That is major respect. That was probably before the Philly mob had Carmine, the Snake. I forgot his last name. But I really, like I said, I love mob movies. I love mob documentaries. But this was all before Carmine the Snake came into Philly and made Philly a dangerous place to be if you was in the mob, you know. And like I said, around that Jimmy Hoffa time, there's a lot of speculation to the theory of Frank Sheeran, with a lot of other theories that who killed Jimmy Hoffa. But with this put me at ease to know what happened to Jimmy Hoffa. This looks and sounds a little bit more believable, because who else would have got really close to Jimmy Hoffa? But at the same time, when I looked at the documentaries for Jimmy Hoffa, they never once mentioned Frank Sheeran next to him in any photos. So I don't know how true or believable I feel like this is, but it feels very believable. Just by I heard you pay houses. I love that. I love that slogan. I love the book. I haven't read it, but I love it. This makes me want to read it to understand what else they were doing around that time, but revolving around Frank Sheeran's life. And it just shows how he was just a hardened criminal, and it made his daughters kind of look at him differently. And you could tell that he was so into the life that his kids were like, I can't, you know, I have no relationship with you because he's a cold-hearted killer, you know. And Frank knew that. Frank knew that. That's why I'm just like, to live out his life the way he did, he knew that the whole time. Like, you know, I'm like, he just was in the life. That's what it does to you. You know, it's just like being in the war. And as he mentioned frequently in this, like, it's just like being at war. It's like, you know, this is what it is. So I love every minute of it. This is, like I said, an instant classic. I'm definitely going to check this out again whenever it's like a year, 2, 3 years down the road. This is going to be an instant classic. And it's shot just like Goodfellas in a way, you know. And that's why I was like, yeah, somebody's getting awards for this. Netflix got him one, finally. Because Disney Plus was like, yeah, we on your tail. Netflix got him one with this. Definitely. Like I said, 10 out of 10. I love the performances. I love the dialogue. It's a slow burn dialogue, and I miss that in movies where it's not a lot of action. You don't need it. You just need to pay attention to the dialogue and to the story. Like, you have to pay attention to understand the next scene. I miss that in movies, and this movie carried it out to perfection. Awesome tacular if you're a Jeremy Jahns fan. Chris Stuckman, A+. 5 out of 5. Woos! If you a Tyrone Magnus fan. This is it. This is it. So, if you guys enjoyed my review of The Irishman, subscribe to my channel, post a comment down below, and like the video. It's your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.